Hi there, I'm Brian Burkhart from Square Planet, and welcome to Orange, our monthly video series to help you become an amazing communicator. And today, we're very excited. We have an amazing guest. This is Mike Walsh. He's not only a friend of mine, but he's a speaker, a consultant, an author, a marketing guru, and we're going to talk about humor. The reality is certainly he doesn't necessarily look that way, but Mike is the funniest person I know. He really, truly is. And so I thought it'd be great to talk about humor with a guy who's constantly communicating, always in front of people, and has this inherent nature of being funny. How you doing today?
Very funny.
Very funny.
That's how I'm doing, Brian.
It's good. I like it.
Yeah.
I've got a bunch of questions for you, Mike, and I want you to be honest in some of your answers, and you know, feel free to kick me under the table if you need to. First and foremost, I know you present at work, certainly on stage as an author. When you have those kind of opportunities, do you always inject humor?
No.
So I've known you for a long time, and I feel like very often humor is sort of your default. It's your first line of defense. In the corporate setting especially, do you think that that's kind of the default? That's where you go first, is to try to be funny, or is it just one of those things that happens from time to time?
A lot of it is ad hoc, depending on the situation and depending on how bad the material is that we have to present. So humor is a way of distracting people from that and hopefully getting over that. But no, you know, it's never a deliberate thing, or rarely a deliberate thing. It's more situational and what feels right in the context of a meeting. Because I find if you plan something out or try to be funny, more often than not, it flops.
I know you so well that it's always funny to me, but sometimes, of course, humor can be taken out of context. Has you ever had a time when it's worked against you?
No. Sure. I mean, it's not knowing your audience is a big pitfall if you're going to try to do something funny or say something funny. So I remember a time I was on the phone, which is, you know, another place where we're always presenting ourselves, and more often than not in the business world today, you're doing 90% of your work on the phone versus in person. So I remember speaking with someone and making some joke about how, oh, we'll just go and have a drink afterwards and everything will be okay. And it shut the conversation down because she was a very strict, no-nonsense, teetotaling Baptist. And from then on, our relationship was almost marred by that because she saw me as some alcoholic who, rightly so, needed to be fixed.
And I know you have to be mindful of how much is too much, or borders, if you will, when you push the envelope too far. Again, in this sort of corporate setting, are there any rules of thumb that you would tell people about knowing borders?
No. Humor in a business context needs to serve a purpose, and that purpose should be to put people at ease. And so once that is accomplished, continuing to push the boundaries is not necessarily helpful, and it can distract from it. So being able to recognize that, hey, we're all at ease at last, we can get down to the business of what we're trying to do, circling back to something that was funny and the group was a part of before is okay, but you don't want to keep belaboring that or trying to top yourself or trying to top other people in the room, because then it just becomes a distraction from the business at hand.
So it's hard being funny. You get put in a box that people always want you to be the funny guy. Is there anything that you can think of, or resources you can give people that they could use to perhaps become funnier? Whether it's books, schools, any ideas to help people really wrap their arms around the idea of being funny?
No.
Well, there you have it. Very succinct. You see, humor is one of those things that you really do have to be careful about. It can often do more to you than for you. So, be wise, use humor judiciously. For Orange and Square Planet, I'm Brian Burkhart, that's Mike Walsh, and we'll see you next month.